All right, good morning. It's about quarter after 10 Eastern time. We're looking at the ES March contract, and we're about halfway through B period. So another 15 minutes will form the initial balance, which is quite a big range. What does that mean going forward? Are we going to continue to move down in a one-time framing fashion? I think that's very possible. But with a range like this, an initial balance, there's also very good odds that we could, rotate back up, um, maybe even rotate within the initial balance a good part of the day with maybe some range extension to one side or the other. Now you can see these areas of possible place to buy. Looks like this one's just finally been penetrated. They have both been. I don't remember the action on this one. They've both been good places to uh, take scalps. Right now, it seems like the best plan would have been to get short here against the previous day's low, or I don't know what happened up in here because I was not present. Yesterday, I needed some rest, and I didn't really get it, and kind of kicked in this morning, so I did not get a pre-market out, but that's okay. It's a pre-market anytime you sit down at your screens, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to be there necessarily before the market if you've life happens. So if you've got a doctor's appointment, take your children somewhere, have an emergency, whatever, and you aren't in the morning, it doesn't mean the day is lost. You just get there and see what's happening. That's all. So here we are. I did a little work last night, and it's kind of been playing out. Um, right now, as it comes down here, we're looking at this 38.2, which was an overnight low. Now, I have composited my several days back going to the 26th. We've got an overnight low in here. I believe it must be, um, I really should separate these out. I think I'm going to do that. I can always merge them back. Let me just undo all merges. We've got an overnight low down here somewhere, excuse me, that we may be about to take out. Here we go, right there, 52.50. So 53 quarter I mentioned the other day was 38.2 retracement. And let me go back to what I was talking about. Okay, on the let's see here. Okay, there we go. So right there. Now this is the downtrend we're in. We retraced. It's pulling back a little bit. Excuse me, to 38.2. This is probably an area that stochastics are pointing up. Um, the volume has been a lot less lately than it was recently, and that also indicates retracement. So, excuse me, meaning the down trend may continue, but there's going to be some stops along the way. All right, so all of that is like, most of the most of the whenever I read market commentary, they hedge both positions. They never say one way or the other really. They always make a case for both sides. So you're at the end, you're kind of left with, well, anything could happen. So I'm no different, I guess. It's going to be like that. So, all right. So let's look at a 24-hour. This is what I was working on last night. Now, I don't know that this is not the best looking head and shoulders pattern. Nevertheless, it has some characteristics. So what does that mean? Well, right now, this neckline, we're on it. So this could hold. We also I have some moving averages working. The yellow moving average, let me just pull it up here. See which one it is. I believe it's the 20. Got to, yep. All right, it's been a while since I checked it out. Everyone, I know my other colors. The yellow, the other colors are definitely, I know what those are all the time, forever. I've used the same colors forever. The yellow, I couldn't remember what it was, and I think it might even be a hull. Let me double check on that. No, it's simple moving average. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. All right. So, at any rate, all All right, I lost my train of thought. I guess that was important. It is true though that moving averages. I mean, you can use any arbitrary number for moving average, and you'll find that that the market often reacts there. You know, um, anyway, I don't want to get into big theories about moving average because it's interesting. It's not just people are trading. It's again like the Fibonacci thing. It just tracks a certain dynamic and okay. All right. Let me back up. So what I've got going on here, this is what's important. So we've got this neckline, which we came up here and made the shoulder. Well, not the shoulder. I'm sorry. We made the um, okay. This is not right. I made this before. Okay, I'm okay. This is going to be the shoulder here. We did come back below it a little bit, and then now we've been above it, and now it's come back down and touched it, come back down and touched it. And so, are we going to go up? Possibly. Again, this is not the best looking pattern, but it definitely pattern is in there. If we break the left shoulder here, down here, it's very bearish. This pattern's over. That's actually going to be a place to short. Again, if this pattern is valid as a dynamic. Right now, I'm looking at this holding, at least for now. It may change later on. But I'm not seeing a lot more downside just yet based on just this analysis. Again, just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'll often, when I'm chatting with a trader I partner with and things, JMO ICBW. I'll type that in there. Just my opinion. I could be wrong as an afterthought. So keep that in mind. So on the 24-hour period, we're still inside. Okay. Look at this. Here, I'll make this bigger. Look at this candle. You know, what's that tell you? I'm not counting this necessarily as, well, I mean, it's a right shoulder. You could say it broke it, but I'm not going to say this pattern's done until it breaks the left shoulder, if you see what I mean. So many times people say, oh, if it breaks the right shoulder, I'm not sure the right shoulder is finished forming yet. But if it breaks this pattern before, it gets down here and takes out the head, then there's a problem for me. Some people might not consider the head and shoulders pattern over until it takes out the head. Well, look, everybody's different. Teach your children that. Everybody's different. All right, so moving on. Let's get back to the profile. So we did not take out that low yet. We're still inside of that 24-hour period at the end of the year. So what's going to happen next? Well, I don't know. As I say, I don't know. We've cleared out the, anything below this very good low in the overnight inventory. We've gone lower. I don't know what the news events are. Again, I just got going a little bit ago, and I felt badly because if anybody's watching this, I know there's one or two people that do watch it. Don't depend on me, I don't think that you do, but if you enjoy the pre-markets, I've only started doing this, and it takes 21 days to get a good habit going, and my habit's not even shaped yet. I really want to get them done before the open, but that's proven a little bit more difficult than I imagined. And I've also got some things personally going on that may make it a little bumpy ride for a few months yet to get that consistent to where it's every single day without fail. That is where I like to be with it. This is an integral part of my trading, is taking time to make a plan, to understand what's happening. And I wish it was easy to do it the night before, but you can't do it because things happen overnight. You kind of have to come in and take a snapshot of what's going on, as close as you can get to when you might start taking a trade. Because as I've said before in other videos, I could have a plan and dynamics could change in the next minute. And I have to be flexible enough, and you have to be flexible enough to abandon all you thought you knew, all you thought you understood, because something changed. And we have to have that skill. And when we're in a trade, particularly, to realize something's wrong. This isn't working. We got to get out, cut our losses, get out at even, forget getting any more out of that trade, any more profit. Maybe you've got some, you got to listen. I am not the greatest at that, but you know what? That's one thing I love about trading is we continue to grow as people, because these are skills that translate into the rest of your life, in the other areas of your life. I mean, so the ability to understand dynamics have changed, and let go of presuppositions, let go of assumptions. That's when you're dealing with reality. That's one of the beautiful things about trading. What has turned it into an endeavor to facilitate freedom in other areas of my life has actually become a passion for for self mastery. For it's the challenge. It's a lot of fun. It's all these things. But anyway, I'm sure you'd agree. So why are we frozen at 62 quarter? All right, that's why. Okay, so I don't know if this broadcast is continuing because the data could have just stopped, or did something happen with my internet? I doubt something happened to my internet. I think with the video, I'm actually running a machine. This is not my usual trading machine. As I've said before, I'm in the process of moving my office. I'm actually running a desktop that's wireless, and that's a new thing for me. I've had that going for a month or so, and just like your laptop can sometimes disconnect, you got to be careful. I'd rather be hardwired in, but that's not always possible, and it's also not something that if you're going to be running around the world with a laptop trying to make a living, that's going to be possible all the time either. So here we come up now to the previous day's low. Is this now resistance? I'd like to make this red, but I'd really ought to make it gray. But just for the sake of making it easy, let's make it red for a second. Is this resistance? That's a place to sell against the value area low, the previous day's low, this VPOC, and all the decisions and directions people have chosen. Quite possibly, we never got this low here. I don't know. Let's take a look again at the daily chart. And I do recommend always having a daily chart handy to just, don't forget what's going on in the bigger picture. That's always important. It's always important. What do we see happening here? We could balance and just kind of grind down a little bit, grind down this line. So not that the line's important, but just, you can see kind of a slope, and you can see that happening before it ever goes back up. The pattern would indicate to me that it very possibly will go back up. I don't know. Again, I keep having to say I don't know. The stochastics, that this could stay up here above 70 forever. Well, excuse me, not forever. This could stay up here a long time. So again, we're in one of those areas which we find ourselves in quite often, where it's kind of like, well, I don't know what's going to happen. It's going to be really fundamentally decided. We've still got the government shutdown going. Last I checked, I guess Apple had something going on after close that sort of was, many thought the market would even go lower than this. This could be what the market's reacting to today. Of course, there's all of the games they normally play. My personal opinion is, especially if we don't take out this low in the next period, that we will rotate back up. And one of the indicators to me, see this B high, we opened and drove down, and that's a clue too, that many times that when it's an open and drive, you're not on board early, and you think that might be continuing. Try to find a place to get in on it. Not necessarily the initial balance, but another thing to consider too in this initial balance, which sometimes it's a blessing that you're late to trading, because you got to let it shake out sometimes. We opened in range, below value, but if you look at the overnight, awful lot of trade in the overnight, and we opened in range and value there. So you got to consider that it's not just in range and value the prior day. It's nuanced. You got to consider it, take it as it comes, and look at the fact that the overnight profile is its own day. It's its own group of people. It's its own traders that, they're holding the ball. They've got the football all overnight. Then a new team comes in the morning, or a new set of players. Not new, I mean, okay, this analogy is okay. Look here, we've got C open drive down so far. It's probably going to bounce right here a little bit, maybe not. You got the overnight low, so come up and sell against it. I don't know. Nope, open drive. It's pretty strong. How far will it get down? We'll get down the bottom of this distribution. You've got buyers holding it here at 60. That may be the end of the downside for C, and we leave a good low here. I don't know. But if we got the VPOC right at 24.64. If we come back up in here and take it out, it might be a good place to get long against the overnight low, which is the top of this blue area, above C, above the VPOC. This could be a place to get long, especially it looks like they're struggling a bit. These are not going away. Sellers right now are getting stuffed at 24.60. Somebody's holding it there or taking, they're getting, okay, they're gone. They're gone. So it's going to go down a little bit more. 59 now, another point down. So I haven't got it together yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to trade this morning, but just wanted to make this offering. I'm trying to get my mind in gear myself. And we'll see what happens for a second. Again, it's not always, we got a double distribution now, right? C, it's not A, B, and C. It's A, then B, now C. Okay. We could get a double distribution down all the way. C could rotate in here for a half an hour. I don't know. The way it's going though, it's kind of iffy. It's kind of, this is what I call they're hammering it. Just kind of like jackhammering it, ding, 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 and kind of pushing it. Now they're at 57, they're holding it, right? Or that's where it looks like there's a lot of people either wanting to take profits or get long here. And, there was a nice little bounce here. That's nice. Was that the end of it? I don't know. Maybe right here. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I don't, the whole proverbial catch a falling knife thing. Look, there's a point where sellers are exhausted or there are no more sellers. There's a point where buyers step in. These are all dynamics to remember. And those are areas where, I particularly like them. The thing is, you got to really read carefully what's going on. Are they going to continue all day down? Or are you looking for a place where, that's about it and we're way too short? The day traders are way too short and they're going to start taking profits or they're going to cover for the end of the day, that kind of thing. Early in the day, it's harder to tell because we don't have range extension yet. Right now in the initial balance, we're still within the pioneer range. Okay. Here's 57. Okay. Those latent sellers there, they're gone. So it looks like they're hammering down. Now they're down at 55. So it's going to continue down. I particularly like to buy poor lows and poor highs on the first touch. So this is where timing is very important. The value area low is right at the low. If we don't get down there, that's going to shift up. But we still aren't at that 38.2, and this entire area right here between 54 and 52.50. I'm thinking, if they don't get a lot of range extension here in C and it gets back up here and D is up here, when a D opens in half an hour, then that's not as good for the downside. But if we come through here quite a bit, get down to the S2 or whatnot, that indicates we may continue even lower. So I really don't know. Anyway, I could sit here all morning and kind of talk as it goes, and then opinions change moment by moment. But if you've watched it this far, great. I hope you've gotten something out of it. Don't really know what to say other than this is possible long right here. But right now, you'd have want to taken some off so you have room to have your stop down here. Someone who got long at 57, this may come back and now roll over that C high. So we had B as an open drive down, C as an open drive down. I don't recall when I've seen 3 TPOs in a row that are open drives down. So if C doesn't roll over the top, um, and D is an open drive down, you know, one of those periods is going to come back through that open. Um, just odds. I can't say anything definitively, right? It's just odds that one of those is going to roll back through their open, no matter how much it's come down. So, looks like got sellers here holding it right here. That to me often is an indication that there's some stuff going on right in here where books are getting settled out. And I don't mean for the day, but I mean people are adjusting inventory, getting out of shorts, getting into longs, getting out of longs, maybe getting into shorts. There's a whole lot of things going on. But if this disappears and these big things keep moving down, it'll keep going down. But if the people on the top aren't like holding it, and the books start loading at the bottom, watch out. And of course, you can have your other types of ways of looking at the market. Here's a numbers bar chart. When you start seeing this light up on the ask side, buyers are stepping in. Now the question is, are sellers, catching their pitches here? Are they gonna be able to get through there? Now another thing to consider: these numbers on the books are still so small. It's still a whippy market. So again, I haven't traded this morning. I don't know that I will, but all right. Well, I'll leave it there. I'm feeling more waked up. All right, wait a minute. Why don't we just see what happens in the poor low? They're going to come down here and retrace back through. I mean, I think this is a place that, if you're not comfortable getting short, well, then maybe you're more comfortable getting long. It's and one of these areas might be a good place to do it. Personally, I'd prefer to be long, but I'm not seeing it's not super clear. And unless it's very clear, that heightens your risk, Now there are certain trades I like right here, like, well, see, in that case, the poor low, it like busted right through, and it busted right through this. So, I like how it's stopping at these areas that I put down, but that doesn't mean they'll hold, right? We always see a little bleed through almost all the time lately. So like, looks like they're looking at it's going to break through here now. There you go. All right. So it looks like we're even headed to the S2. So we've got range extension to the downside. Those little bounces were only good for scalps. Sellers seem kind of strong, but one of the games is over now. So this is the game right here. Remember that. See, did you forget it? That overnight low. It wasn't in the picture on purpose. So that overnight low stops. That was there from yesterday. So a lot of people were holding stops down there that, maybe they're working or sleeping. And that's like, well, if the market gets down there, I'm out, So usually it's going to be 1 tick to 2 points. If it goes beyond that, that game's over, but the sellers are even stronger. And, oftentimes when you've got one of these pivot points or something like that in range, that they may push on down for that. But let's take again. Now, notice this too. This is important. This is very thin volume, right? Very thin. Just is not healthy. In fact, the whole day kind of looks like there's not a lot of volume. Let's see what we got up here. It's just very thin. I haven't looked at like a regular bar volume chart to see. So let's see what happens in a minute, if you don't mind hanging out. One thing I could do, just put a trend line on one of these lows here to see what that looks like. Let's see here. Okay, we're about there. Does it mean anything? Stochastics thing hasn't crossed over yet. This is a a lot of, I mean, just think how that candle looks. It just doesn't look normal, you know? There's no shadow at the top, and for the most part, there's no shadow at the bottom yet, you know? Will we get one? Well, look at the shadow here, you know? Where are all those people? Or are we going to have the reverse today? That's another thought. We'll just have the reverse today. This candle flipped over, you know, but where will it end? Well, I'm kind of looking for an end right now. I don't know. There is plenty of room for more retracement down here. Plenty of room. All right, let's get back over the profile. Let's get a 30-minute bar. One other thing we can always do is let's just take a Fibonacci look at stuff. You know, is this a 1272 extension? Is this an expanded flat, as they say in the, well, how about that? It's 1271. Let's see if it's one. Here, let me make this. I wish Sierra chart would let me have these set to where they snap to where I want them anyway. So let's go to this one I'm not using. Okay. Another one might be to 150. You know, these are not always exact, so don't forget that. Notice that first A period came down to the one. You know, you may say, oh, well, see, that doesn't. Here, let me clear all this out. Make this a little clearer. Okay. See the A period low? 12712. Okay. There may be another way to figure this extension based on a 15-minute, you know, for the B period off of A period. So there's ways to do it. I'm pretty comfortable that might be the extent of the downside for now. Just my opinion. I could be wrong, right? So let's do this. Okay, I'm glad you're hanging with me, having fun. Okay. Okay. 1272 is way down here, so it's too big. It's not there. Let's do this. All right. What are we looking for after 618? 786. Let's see if it's in there. Kind of looks like it could be, doesn't it? Need to make some presets on this. As they say on the Dr. Phil show, how about that? Okay. There you go. Okay, so Ben, what does this mean? Where's my trade? What does that mean? There's no trade. There was a trade. We kind of missed it. We didn't have all these levels worked out yet, or possible places that we could say, oh yeah, that may mean that that's the end of the downside. But it's looking a little better for now. There is a little more room on that to the 786. It wasn't exact, so maybe is that the 20? I didn't look to see if that was at 2446, because on that chart, that little space between the line and the low, maybe just this space. You know, it's interesting how that Fibonacci stuff works out very often with other calculations stuff. So anyway, okay, that's enough video. This is probably 30 minutes long. All right. Maybe I'll come back later. Bye.